What's behind you there? Do you have a bunch of beautiful records behind you?
These are all records.
Wow, where's mine? Where's mine? Is
Well,
not there.
see, you were actually the first one ever asked me, and it's not going to be the awkward thing where I don't have it, because I genuinely like your music and don't think you suck.
Well,
But
thank
like,
you.
this is the weirdest one I have,
No! Oh my God.
right?
I bow my head in shame.
No, are you kidding me? Don't bow your head
No,
in shame.
you know what's funny? When I got my first record deal, I the people at Warner Brothers said, listen, you need to sell 50 to 100,000 copies if you ever even have another record. And I was like, oh my God, that's so many. So long story short, there's a girl at Warner Brothers, and her job was to look at basically guesstimate the amount of records I would sell in my career, and then they would budget with that. And so the estimation was that I would sell from 50 to 100,000 copies. And so of course, years later, she left Warner Brothers and she came to work for me in my management company. And I said to her, like, Joe, I said, why? I said, you guesstimated 50,000 records in my career. I said, Joe, we've done over 60 something million. And she said, chicken, she said, well, chicken, what did you expect? Your first single was Spider-Man. And I was like, oh, that's true. It is true. She's like, you didn't exactly come out of the box swinging. You had Spider-Man as your single. So
oh, that's amazing.
That's
I
why
didn't know I
I
did
bowed
such
my head.
a
Yeah. I remember doing that shot, actually. I remember doing that at that cover, and I was on the roof of the Roosevelt Hotel. And the guy kept saying to me, just stretch out. Make yourself look longer. And I was like, ooh, there it is.
Received it. As soon as I saw this, I'm like, wow, Michael looks really long.
Yeah, man. You know what's funny? That plays more in my house than any other one of my songs.
Really?
Constantly. It is a constant. That is a song that I hear over and over because my kids put on their Spider-Man costumes and then they dance around. They go, Alexa, play Spider-Man by my poppy. And boom, they dance
That's
forever.
amazing.
Sorry, Alexa heard me. So you're about to play Spider-Man. Alexa. Alexa, hold on. Spider-Man with Michael Buble. Alexa, para. By the way, you can tell the Alexa is my wife's because I have to speak Spanish to it.
It sounded amazing. I was very impressed.
Hey.
But also, Mike, I also have your Christmas album. Like, I have a bunch.
Oh my God, my head's gigantic.
I'll do the interview like this, okay?
I love that you love records. I mean, honestly, is there anything better than listening to a record? It's so much better.
I've always wondered this about you the last couple years is how does it make you feel knowing that every day you make the world stink a little bit less figuratively and literally?
That's so funny. That's a beautiful feeling. And that's how I'm going to go on telling my kids what I do for a living. I make things stink a little bit less, kids. It's beautiful. I mean, I think I think we've been through lots, and I think we don't have a lot of room for other stuff. So we try to practice being, just doing, listen, when you got kids, I feel like it's not enough to say or to tell them how to be. I think there's nothing like action to show them. So, and I'm a failure. I mean, I'm a complete failure so much of the time. I wish that I was more patient. I wish that there's a million things I wish I was better at, but I try my best. And the fragrance, it's weird. I'm really proud of it. It's weird though to talk about because I feel like it's so far away from my expertise, but at least I was there and I did it. I was part of making it happen. I went to worked with the perfumers and doing it. So at least now when I talk about it, I'm not just completely talking out of my ass.
You can if you want. That would be very interesting to watch and hear. Don't know about smelling, but you never know. I also am a sports reporter, and I got to cover the Stanley Cup playoffs and finals this year. And you had such a cool moment being on that ice by yourself. I know it might have been bittersweet if you had the Canucks in there, but obviously that's not going to happen for many years. But for you as a hockey fan, there was a dig there. As a hockey fan, what was it like? What was it like to kind of be a part of that moment, kicking off the biggest series in hockey?
You know, it's interesting because I'm not a big lover of singing the anthem. It's just a really dangerous thing to do. Uh, it's there's just always controversy that follows, and it's easy to forget the words or to get the wrong words of the new words, and you didn't do the French words, and so it's a dangerous thing to do. But so my manager called. He said, "Listen, they've asked if you would be interested in singing it," and I said, "Yes, I would." And he got really surprised because he figured that I would have turned it down quickly. But for me, it was bigger than hockey. It was a nation who had been through so much with COVID. Obviously, it was a huge moment having hockey back. And I think it brought back this sense of normalcy in a time that has just been so weird and uncertain. And I'm proud of my country, and I love my country, and I love the game. And so for me, it didn't feel like there was much of a choice. And I was really nervous to do it, actually. It's funny. I'm usually not that nervous. And I was standing there in the middle of the ice, and I try to do my best, and I didn't watch it because it's too hard to watch myself. But I believe that game that I sang for, the Canucks lost, and I'm pretty positive they're probably not going to ask me to sing again. I might be bad luck.
Get out of here. But something what else I know that you enjoyed that was one of the gifts of 2020 was the Last Dance documentary, like
Oh
with the
yeah.
GOAT, Michael Jordan. But I'm curious, were you a Grizzlies fan when they were actually in Vancouver? And do you think they'll ever come back?
I was a big Grizzlies fan. I loved having a team here. I'm proud of my city. So I don't think we'll ever have a team. I mean, we could. I mean, basketball is just so popular. I remember, Big Country and Sharif Abdur-Rahim and Michael Bibby. We had some really good players, but it just wasn't to be. The truth is, I got a lot of joy out of watching the Raptors win. That meant a lot to me. Obviously, I love my country, and so it was. I feel like anytime that we can unite, when it gets down to brass taxes, I'm one of those guys, and many people disagree, but I'm one of those guys where I cheer for the last Canadian team in the dance. And even if I'm not a fan of the team, if it's Toronto or Winnipeg or any of the other Canadian teams, I still cheer for them because I think about my fellow Canucks and how good it must feel to win a Stanley Cup. God, I'm in so much pain right now.
I'm a Leafs fan, so
I could tell. I could smell it. I could smell it. I could
oh, get
smell
out of
the
here.
sadness, frustration, and desperation.
The tears still
Isn't
striking.
it? Isn't it? Leafs fans and Canucks fans have a lot in common because it's been a long time, and it is so painful. It is so deeply painful, and yet every year it's like a
We go back
bad
for more.
marriage. Every year we just come back and say, "I love you, honey. I love you," and
I
then they
love you
hurt you
so
again.
much. You've never
Yep.
disappointed me.
Yep.
Oh.
Again.
We're ridiculous. But I spoke to Shania Twain not long ago, and she told me she is a wicked three-pointer. What
Hmm.
are your hoop skills, and who do you think would be like the musicians all Canadian basketball team? Because we have you. I'll put Shania on it.
I think Drake's a pretty good ball player. I know Bieber can play. Um, I don't know about basketball, but I saw Matthew Perry play tennis once, and he was really good. Wayne Gretzky would be good at anything.
Yeah.
Let me think. I mean, I can imagine Jan Arden, point guard.
Oh, she'd be like Gary
She
Payton. She'd be
she'd
the
be
mouthpiece.
the
Yeah.
glove.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Oh,
You
yeah.
yeah yeah. Let me think. What other good Canadian? I don't know.
I feel like Jim Cuddy would also be on there, like center, and I feel like he'd be feisty, giving some elbows.
I think Jim Cuddy could just stand there and he'd be so good looking that it would just distract everyone on the court, and he could just go in easy for a little layup.